Well, this is definitely a blast from the past. We're going to be going through and flipping through some of my very first bullet journals. We're going to start with the very first one I created, which was in a moleskine, and then we're going to go through all of them to present day. Moving to a bullet journal was really tricky. I started with a moleskine. I hated how thin the pages were, but I followed through with it. I then found that creating spreads every week was really challenging for me, so what I did was I went and printed out some kind of pre-made ones that I did on PowerPoint, and they just worked for me for what I needed for that week. I still had trackers and budget planning, etc., that I thought would be really efficient, and as I moved through it, I found that some things really worked for me and some things just really didn't. I ended up hating the moleskine, so moved to an art journal where I started feeling a little bit more creative and started doing a little bit more in the creative space and a little bit more painting because the paper was far thicker for me to be able to do that. I've recreated some of the spreads that I originally made as well, and you can see I've got very messy handwriting, so it's not as though my journals are anything great to look at when they're finished, but I do enjoy keeping them on hand. I then finally moved to my first Scribbles that matter, and it was really exciting. I got far more creative and felt far more confident with what I was doing, and felt a lot more at ease with the way that I was creating my bullet journal. I started using a lot more mixed media in my bullet journal as well, and while I still have super crazy messy handwriting, I had a lot more fun with this one and put more mindfulness in towards how I felt about the bullet journal. And that was, I think, beginning of 2018, end of 2017, and kind of going into May of 2018 before I finally moved on to my first B5, which was also a Scribbles that matter. I started feeling a lot more confident again with my large Scribbles that matter, and a lot more creative art-wise. So if we go through that one, you'll see I had a lot more landscape to use in my planner. So I did use up a lot more space. I do take a lot of notes, and yeah, I just had a lot more fun with this one than I did in previous years. Got really creative with project management and tracking and a whole bunch of other things that I really wanted to try and use and do. I tried to keep to themes, but I wasn't really able to stick to them very well, and there's a couple of spreads that I'd really like to recreate again at the end of this year too. Finally on to my 2019 B5 BuJo. This started in June and went all the way through to December. You can see that I was feeling far more confident with the way that I did my pages and art and the things that I included in my bullet journal. I would absolutely love to hear from you if you have any questions with regards to things we should cover off in our next videos. Really look forward to hearing from you, and head over to Instagram and Facebook and give us a like, comment, follow and share. Thank you.